Hi guys, welcome back to Word of Wisdom. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Naomi.
And today, I don't remember what we're going to be talking about, but I feel like it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Hey.
But before we get into that, we are going to talk about our wine, and then we're going to do like a little game, most likely to, and then we're going to kick off the episode.
Yeah.
So, Nay, would you like to do an intro to our
Lovely wine?
Sauvignon Blanc?
Sauvignon. So, guys, just as a general rule of thumb, for me, if I'm never too sure what to pick on the menu, I always go for a Sauvignon red or a Sauvignon white.
Okay.
Because they are
Let them know.
they're easier to drink. They're a lot easier. They don't have a lot of tannin.
Ooh.
Typically.
Yes.
So, and for those who don't know what tannin is, please explain, Jimmy.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So you have high acid and then you have high tannin. High acid means that it makes your mouth water, and high tannin means it dries out your mouth, so it gives you a more drying effect.
Yeah. So
Yes.
there we go. But yeah, this is a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, Villa Maria.
Ooh, let them know.
It's a 2022 wine. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one.
I already had a sip.
Do you not care? You see, when I tell you guys that this girl does not like to cheers, this is what I'm talking about.
I already had a little sip, just a tiny. I didn't
Look
think
at her.
I did a little swirl and then I smelled it and I was like, ooh, damn, I gotta taste this. But I definitely prefer a Sauvignon Blanc to a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Always. So when in doubt, go with Sauvignon Blanc.
Go Sauvignon. Right, let's give it a little try.
I mean, I've already tried it, but cheers.
Can we... Guys, I'm going to smack her. Interesting.
I quite like it. It's just, it gives me that tangy, the sides of my mouth like water as well. It's got the perfect balance of sweet, but not so sweet. I don't know.
I think it's got almost like a sharp taste, but then it's like, it doesn't leave you with such a harsh aftertaste.
Yeah, I want to know what fruit is in it. Obviously,
Tell
it's
us.
lemon, but
I
it's
can definitely, I feel like I can taste stone fruit.
100%. You can smell it as well straight away. How interesting is this though? It says aromatics of lemongrass and jalapeno.
Jalapeno?
Yeah, flavors of lime with fresh snow pea. I mean, I definitely I can't taste the snow pea or the jalapeno, but I can definitely smell the stone fruit. The lemongrass,
I feel like I can taste lemongrass coming through for sure.
I can smell the lemongrass.
I feel like I could taste it. But the jalapeno.
I'm enjoying this.
Guys, just so you know, we also have an event coming up on February the 4th. Make sure you get a ticket. Make sure you're there. We'll be tasting a lot more wines. So
Yeah. Valentine's,
be sure to be there.
a little bit of chit chat with the girls. 'Cause why not?
Exactly.
Let's cheers to that though.
Cheers.
Okay, we are going to start doing our most likely to,
Yeah.
hosted by the one and only.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're going to start off. We're going to ease you guys in, yeah?
Okay.
Most likely to get married abroad.
Definitely
That's
no.
me. I'm doing out of that one.
Yeah, 100%.
That was so easy. Okay. Most likely to get lost on a night out.
Ooh. I think I want to say the Gemini. That could be either of us.
Honestly.
No, I don't know about that one because that one could be either of us. To be fair, definitely the both of us. 100%.
Okay, this one is interesting.
Ooh.
It's very interesting. Most likely to marry a drug lord.
Huh?
Yeah. I would say me. I think me more likely.
I was definitely, my hand was like...
Yeah, me to be fair.
Okay. Who is most likely to fake their own death?
Depends. If I'm trying to get out of a situation of talking to people, probably me. But more likely to fake their own death.
I don't know, because
why?
I'll just be like, why do I have to die? Why do I have to... Literally,
That is so funny. I don't know.
Okay. Who is most likely to wake up with a tattoo?
Me. Obviously.
This one here.
Definitely me.
Okay. Who is most likely to have a holiday romance?
Well,
I feel like it could be either of us. To be
yeah,
fair.
I think so too. I feel like because Nay loves a holiday, I love a holiday. I love a little romance. So does Nay. Do you know what I mean? So that could be either of us.
Okay. Who is most likely to become an internet meme?
I mean, we podcast it. Anybody could be a
Literally
meme.
any of us, because we have both had outlandish. Well,
Comments.
Jimmy has definitely had some outlandish comments.
I don't even think they're outlandish. I
Hey!
think people perceive them as outlandish.
Wow, interesting.
Perception is everything.
Okay, and the final one that we'll do is who is most likely to end a relationship over text?
Probably me.
Yeah. I
Probably me.
think it's going to be you. Even though Nay doesn't like texting.
Even though I don't like texting,
I feel like it's more likely to be. Because
Yeah.
I'll be like, what? Call me.
I just be like, I can't bother to deal with you after this. I'm saying it once. I want to.
It's done.
If you miss anything, go back and
Go
read.
back and read. I sent you an essay. And in that essay, I bullet pointed everything for you. Yeah, definitely on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. All right, guys. So we're going to kickstart our conversation. So our topic of the day is going to be about contentment.
Yes, contentment, life, a bit of happiness, goals. Kind of a combination because for me, contentment involves all of that.
Yeah.
So-
it definitely has a lot of overlap.
What is the definition of contentment? Do we even know?
Hey. Wait, let me see.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to, off the top of my head, I would be like happiness in this whatever stage of life that you're at.
Yeah.
That's just what I would put it as.
Yeah.
Is that the definition?
Basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh, spot on. So I was going to say being content with life is subjective and a personal journey, and different approaches work for different people.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact because it is subjective because
Yeah.
what is success to you
Yeah.
might not be success to me, and what
Exactly.
is happiness to me, for example, might not be happiness to you. So it's
Exactly.
very, very true. And yeah, you have to also be happy in each stage because it's not always going to be summer. Sometimes it's going to be winter, and unfortunately, we're going to have to get used to it.
Exactly.
But what do you think causes? What's the opposite of contentment when you're not content?
Yeah. Well, discontent.
Is that the right word? I feel-
Is that
I was gonna
Just
say
make that up.
I was gonna say that, and I was like, let me not say that, just in case it's not a word.
But then me, I'll put myself there. I'll be the internet meme. I'll be the
see?
internet meme. But yeah,
What do you think causes people not to be content?
I feel like when they are constantly trying to compare themselves to others,
Yep.
I feel like you won't allow yourself to be content with what you have because
that point.
At that point,
Yep.
because you're too busy comparing yourself to others and measuring your life successes against other people's. And I think in like, just for a few examples out there, it would be people who are like, oh, I should have been married when I was 25.
Yep.
Okay, but you're 30 and you're not married. It's fine.
You're
Be
still
happy.
cute, though.
You're still cute and you're doing well for yourself. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just not your season. So, yeah.
What
about
do
you?
I feel like causes discontentment? Comparison. I think that's a big one. Comparison to where different people are and where
Yeah.
where different people are and where you expect to be.
Yeah.
Societal pressure. Parental pressure.
Oh, yeah.
I think parental pressure is a very big one as well because
Yeah.
a lot of the time when we grow up, we're like our parents might instill some values or goals in us, and if we don't meet that expectation, I think that
Yeah.
might also cause you not to feel content. I really want to say discontentment, but
Discontent. That's what it's called.
discontent. Okay, yeah. What else causes people not to be content? Social media, as you said, even though social media for me is a bit of a tricky one, we're going to touch on that soon. Those are the things I feel make people discontent because, and I think comparison for me is the biggest one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Why do we compare?
It's a good question. You have to ask somebody who compares themselves to people. But
Yeah, why do we compare?
But I do think on a general basis, I feel like a lot of people want what they don't have.
Yes.
And so they're constantly chasing that thing
Yeah.
that they don't have. And then when they do have it, I do feel like a lot of people don't always appreciate what they have.
Yeah.
And that's where the content comes in because it's like you should be happy with what you've got.
I'm in two minds about two things are floating through my mind at the same
Oh,
time.
Come on.
No, I agree with what you're
okay.
saying. In my head, I'm just like, one, is there positive jealousy in that comparison? And then what was the second thing? Jesus, escapes my mind. It'll come back to me at some point, but it's escaped my mind. But is there positive jealousy? Because, you know, when we're talking about like the comparison
Yeah.
and content with other people. So for
Yeah.
example, let's say my friend has a Range Rover, right? I want a Range Rover. I'm like, damn, I'm so proud of you that you've hit that goal, but I really want that. That's a slight comparison.
That is a slight comparison.
Yeah.
But I would say that's more about you having goals and you having aspirations.
Yes.
So I think that's slightly different to jealousy.
Yes.
Jealousy comes with negativity. And so I think if somebody's got something that you want that you don't have, you might start saying things like, oh, that colour isn't even nice anyway.
No, you're a hater. That's what that is.
But it's like, it's just you're green with envy and you have no kind of plans or ways of you trying to get to that goal for yourself. You're just too busy hating on that person for what they have achieved. So I think there's nothing wrong with having aspirations. And I think there's nothing wrong with setting your similar goals to
so
like
there is
your
positive
friends.
jealousy.
But
there is positive. So there's slight positive jealousy because it depends on what it's associated with.
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know if I'd say it's positive.
Do you know why I say that?
Comparison.
Positive comparison. Yeah, there is because there has to be, and we do it as well. I think as well in relationships. If your man's not jealous a little bit, I'm like, I don't want that one. Why is he not jealous a little bit? And same with me. If I'm not a little bit jealous, a little bit, you know, then I don't know if that's a good thing. So like, while I completely agree with the aspirations part because in my head that's what I see it as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe there is some positive aspects to jealousy because but not within friendships though, I don't know about that. But do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one.
Yeah, I feel like it is a difficult one because I think any form of jealousy just has the ability to fall into negativity.
It does
And
if
I
your
feel
character's
like-
not strong.
And that's why I feel like it's better to just have the aspiration to want to do better or the right kind of setting the right goals to acquire what you want.
My counter
Because-
to that is that people are not like that. So jealousy is a natural
Yeah.
because
It's-
jealousy is a natural feeling.
Yeah.
You have to be strong in you and innate.
Yeah.
Like it has to be innate in you to be like, I'm actually not jealous of this person.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite happy for them, but I want to. Do you know what I mean? But I
That's-
don't feel like.
And that's where I think people need to do more work on being content. People need to do more work on saying, I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I understand that I'm trying to aspire to do better.
Yeah.
And I can have people around me who are in better positions
Facts. You
that
always
I'm
will.
aspiring to get to.
Yeah.
But I think when it's like, oh, okay, this is happening for my friend and I can't take out the time to just be happy for my friend
Yeah.
because my jealousy starts to creep in.
Yeah.
And when and the reason why I'm not too keen on positive jealousy is because I think the whole essence of jealousy is to want something that you currently do not have, and sometimes it can be in a
Negative.
I don't know how jealousy can always be seen.
It can't always be seen as positive.
Not always be seen
Yeah.
as positive, but I can't see how jealousy can ever be seen as positive.
So, for example, I just think in a relationship, for example, I have my man already. But if a girl's not flirting with him, I'd be a little bit jealous. Do you see what I mean? And that's not necessarily a negative thing, but can be seen in a. I mean, depends on who's looking at it.
It can be endearing that your partner kind of
You're getting
is a bit like,
I'm a bit jealous.
"What? Are you flirting?"
Yeah.
But then it's, I don't know. I don't know. But it's still the kind of like approach was still quite negative. He was like upset that you were doing something, and then through your reassurance, you've kind of suppressed that. But it's like a you know when they're like it's toxic.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily a bad thing because I guess in life you need a balance of everything.
100%.
But I feel like
And the reason why I'm mostly saying it is because I feel like jealousy and feelings are natural. So these feelings will come to these feelings and thoughts will come to your head, but it's how you kind of deal with it. That's why I'm like, can you twist it? I'm trying to see it in a positive, like, can you twist it and make it positive jealousy? If you're a hater, you're a hater. That's your business. But positive jealousy.
yeah.
Because I remember like one of my friends explained a situation to me and I was like, that's actually a really good point because I know this person and I'm 100% sure that you're content with where you are and the aspiration you're talking, because she mentioned the term aspiration as well at the time. And I was like, see it as positive jealousy because you're not actually jealous of this friend.
Yeah.
You're super happy for her and you show up for her every time and you're, supportive.
Yeah.
But you're like, actually, I want to be in that. I want that thing that she currently has. And she's not a hater. I can vouch for her character 100%.
But that's the thing. I think, like, for example, let's say you have a friend that's got engaged.
Yeah.
And you're also waiting for your partner to propose.
Yeah.
And you're like, you could have that sense of that urge to be jealous and be like,
Yeah.
oh, my friend's just got engaged. Why am I not getting engaged? But then you're now being you're I can't even think of the word, but you're considering your feelings above your friends. You're not there celebrating your friend in that moment because the jealousy is creeping in. But I think it's different if you then are aspiring to be in her situation, because then you can still celebrate her whilst wanting it for yourself at one point.
100%.
And that's where I feel like jealousy is there's just a negative connotation around it. I just feel
there
like
definitely is there is.
How do you have the two?
I feel like you can be happy for your friend and still want to get engaged.
No, I feel like you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. But my thing is like, if it's from a jealous point of view, it's like, even if, like, how would you turn that into positive jealousy?
I don't think you're jealous because you want something. And I think that's the thing, because it's like,
you don't think jealousy is because you want something?
not always. Like, do you know what I mean? For example, I just gave the example of being in a relationship. I already have you. And someone's flirting with you and I'm a bit jealous.
Yeah, but is that not just because you feel like they could potentially have what you have?
No, I don't think so. I mean, good luck trying to steal my man, B. Do you know what I mean?
But then where does the slight jealousy come from?
I think it's a natural feeling. The same way sometimes we naturally feel joy with certain things.
Yeah.
We can't always control when we feel jealousy, sadness, whatever. Do you know what I mean? We can't really control it. Let's say, for example, my friend becomes super successful at something. I might not necessarily be jealous, but I can be happy for you in that moment. So, for example, let's say you get engaged, right? I would be happy for you in that moment. I might still want to be engaged though, but I'm not jealous. But
that's the thing. But then that's why I say, so that's why I can't see it as jealousy being a positive, because I feel like you're aspiring to be engaged. So you're still happy for me, and you're aspiring it for yourself. But the jealousy would be you being like, oh, she got engaged.
Yeah, but I'm right. I want my girls to get engaged. But do you not feel like, and this is I'm not speaking for myself because I don't feel like I'm a jealous person, but women in general, I feel like that natural feeling of jealousy will come in because women are naturally competitive with one another.
I'm not saying that people don't get jealous.
No, that's what I'm saying. But how, can you, as a human and as a person in our characters, can we twist that? Because if you get engaged right now, I might be like, oh shit, I really want to get engaged too, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm a damn sure be happy with you. But that natural feeling of jealousy may creep in. And I use me as an example because it's just easier because I'm not here. But do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what I'm like.
I hear what you're saying, but that's why for me it's
you're here.
I just
It's what you're thinking. You're like,
I just see it as like it's an aspiration. You're aspiring to get to somewhere. And I think there's nothing wrong with that because that's what you want for yourself. That's what you want for your life. But I think if it's a jealousy thing, it's more to do with you're just not necessarily happy for that there's an element of just negativity there.
Yeah, I feel like there is definitely a negative connotation
but I
to
do
jealousy.
feel like most females do. I feel like everyone has that feeling in them. Like you can have, there is the ability to be jealous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like you've got to consciously make the conscious effort to not be negative with it and to aspire rather than to require.
Yeah. And do you feel like that has to be a character of a person? Because for example, do you feel like in order to see it in a aspirational or positive way, doesn't that relate to the character of the person? Because let's say that it's a natural feeling. How do you then change that?
Yeah, I feel like you have to work on it. I feel like you have to consciously make the effort to know that you're in your own lane. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, going back to the whole contentment, being content, that's where it comes into it. I think you need to do the work on yourself to want to, like, to be happy with where you're at. Yeah. Because, yes, I might have thought or said to myself, okay, at 25, I want to be married and start a family and stuff. Yeah. But that's probably not my journey. Yeah. So it's like, that's not what God has in store for me.
Yep.
That's not where my life route was destined. Yeah. So I think it's letting go more and letting God. And I think once you start to understand that you're not in control of your destiny, then you have less like requirements to feel jealous when something's happening for other people, because you start to realize like, okay, well, that's happening for them because it's their season. Yep. And that's not happening for me because I'm not there yet. So I'm doing more of my own personal development and personal growth to get me to where I need to get to. Yep. So I do feel like you have to do a lot of more self-growth and self-development and understand that everybody is walking their own journey and destiny. So you can't sit here talking about other people's journeys and growth, and they've got a Lamborghini and a Range Rover and they're featured on, I don't know, big shows and blah, blah, blah. Because that's, that's their destiny. That's what
it's their time.
That's their time.
Yeah.
It's their season to be in those places. So for me, I just feel like you have to learn to just be content with where you are at in life and not try to steal other people's joy.
I completely agree with you. I just don't think human beings are that way inclined.
No, they're not. They're not. It's not. It's like I do agree that jealousy is a natural feeling.
Yeah, I don't think human beings are not. Let me take that back. Some human beings, because there are actually some amazing ones. Some human beings are just not that way inclined. You cannot turn a negative situation, not even negative, because I don't really always feel like aspirations cannot really be negative, into a positive. You need to actually consciously work on it. And we'd be curious to know what you guys think as well, because I think that would be actually really interesting to see like the positive jealousy, because again, if that's a thing, negative jealousy, aspirations, and contentment are like where you feel the line can potentially be and where you can draw a line. So I'd be very curious.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting one.
In terms of, has there ever been a situation where like you felt that you're jealous and then you've turned it into a positive? Or do you know what I mean? Or you're like, actually, I'm aspiring for this, but it may have come across as jealousy.
Oof. God damn. Let me try and think. I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I'm so in my head. I'm trying to think of like a situation where I'm like, have I come across to one of my friends as jealous?
That's the thing. I think it's always so hard because it's going to be it's like the objective and subjective kind of debate. View on this, because I may feel like I'm not coming off jealous, but then maybe to my friend they feel like I am. Yeah, and maybe they're just misinterpreting maybe the way I'm like acting towards it. Because for example, if one of my friends says that they got engaged and I'm not jumping off the roof and bouncing off the walls, they may feel like I'm acting jealous. But these times I'm like, no, I'm just happy for you. Like I knew it was coming. I knew where we were, like I knew it was coming, and maybe I'm just not celebrating in the way that maybe you expected me to celebrate.
And this is what I'm saying. Guys, you need to watch our friendship episode. And this is what I was like, when do you, because you're not always going to meet the expectation of your friends.
Exactly.
And they can actually, it's true that subjective and objective thing is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. But one thing, my friends can't call me the hater, because we all know that I'm always happy for you. So
yeah, that's the thing. I think I think the reality is you want to make sure you surround yourself with people who are always going to be your cheerleaders and support you. And I think a lot more people need to do more work internally to just be content with where they're at in life, because everyone has their season to propel forward. And, some people are still in the building season. So some people are still building and it's not happening for them right now. And then you see it with, some celebrities or other people in the industry who they may have been working at it for years, but their big break didn't come until they were later on in life. Yeah. So
the question is then, how do we become more content with now? What's your take on that?
How do we become more content? I think it is just a lot of spiritual healing. I think it's a lot of personal growth. Yeah. I think even seeking advice, maybe going to like a specialist to just kind of do a lot of counselling and things like that, because I feel like it is a lot of internal work. Yeah. Especially because jealousy, for example, can be quite a natural emotion. Yeah. Fear can be quite a natural emotion. Yeah. Those kind of emotions can consume you and hold you back from reaching goals that you have set out for yourself. Yep. So I think sometimes you have to make those conscious efforts to make changes to yourself, changes to your
natural personality
in order to help with your personal growth to get to where you want to get to, so that you are learning to be content. And also even making a journal. Like, what's wrong with making like a happy journal, just documenting all the little things that you have done to get you to where you have got to. Yeah. So for example, like maybe you want to aspire to buy a massive house one day, but you've been able to at least buy your first property. Like, just journal these little things down. So then when you are looking back on life and you're feeling like, oh, I haven't even achieved anything. Like, what have I done so far? I feel like I'm, upset with this and I've not done this. Well, if you look back at your journal, you'll see all the positive changes you have done over the years. And I think that's a really good way to just keep in, like, to keep yourself going and motivated. To stay motivated and on top of everything.
Do you know what's so funny? I find, good. God forgive you for being so direct. I find that a lot of people that aren't content are undisciplined, lack strong characteristic traits, don't have a good group of people around them.
Keep talking. I'm going to tap you up as you're talking.
Thanks, girl. Don't have a good group of people around them, and genuinely weren't. This sounds bad again, but weren't raised always properly or correctly. Because to be honest, I always feel that the more you celebrate people's successes, the more success that comes to you. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, when you are disciplined in your own life in terms of goal setting and you're going towards your own particular goals, you tend to be more content because you're like, I'm actually doing everything I can do right now with the resources I have and who I can tap into. I don't really care what you're doing or you're doing. I'm happy for you. And I'm going to celebrate you along every step of the way. And it's so funny because I always say this to my friends in the group chat. I'm like, something little might be happening. I'm like, can't wait to celebrate this with you. Do you know what I mean? It could be something minor. Oh my God, like I booked. So one of my friends does like dyslexia assessments. She just started a business doing that, right? And she got one client. She's like, oh, it's only one client. I'm like, what do you mean it's just one client? That's how it starts. Everything starts with one.
How it starts.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Some people have businesses and they're still 10 years later, they're still not making money. So
that's what I'm saying.
One client is something.
One client is. Do you see what I mean? It's like coaching business. Like you know, one of my friends does a coaching business. Honestly, the other day she was like, oh my God, I booked a coaching client. I'm like, let's cheers.
Oh my God.
Do you see what I mean? So it's like, I know that you're working hard towards that thing and it's celebrating the small things. People forget that those, like you said, you know, in terms of the journaling, those little things make a big difference.
It makes such a big difference. It's celebrating the milestones. That really is such a good way to actually learn to be content in where you are. That's a good one.
Another thing as well I think is really important is people always think the goal's the most fun. The goal's never the most fun.
Oh, no.
The journey's always the most fun. Every time I've hit a goal, every time I'm like, is that it? Every time. I've never actually been, well, I say that, it was a lie. But every time I get to my goals, I'm like, oh, okay. Do you see what I mean? But then I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I learned this. I made this friend. I learned this about myself. This person has made me grow in this avenue. I now have this contact. And I'm like, damn, that journey was lit.
It's so exciting. It is really exciting. The journey is exciting and we do take it for granted a lot. It can be quite difficult. Nobody's saying it's not easy. But the journey is the most fun.
Yeah. And I feel like once you understand that point, and again, sometimes I feel like we speak from a place of privilege, Nay. Because I feel like, again, we're born genuinely happy, innate people. And some people really aren't born like that. So it's like, how do those people make those changes? Because I definitely speak from a place of privilege because I know I wake up in the morning, and I'm full of life. I'm full of energy. I'll be singing. I'll be rapping. I'll be sending crazy voice notes in the morning. It could be 6 a.m. It could be 7 a.m. But a lot of people don't wake up like that. Some people are like, I need to defrost. It's not even 9 a.m.
Those people. Like I think it is quite difficult. I think if you're not that way inclined, it is about changing your routine and putting new things in place to help bring that out of you. So, for example, it might be, I don't know, some people enjoy going to the gym in the morning. Yeah. You know, releasing that energy. Endorphins. I just see Kerry looking at me from the corner. Releasing those endorphins, helping you kind of get ready to start your day. Or even just like addressing your goals at the start of the day. I think that is a big one. Yeah. Like if you're somebody who is trying to, you know, you're aspiring to achieve new heights and aspiring to achieve new things, maybe it's just doing your goals at the start of the day, getting those out of the way. That will make you feel good because then you feel like, oh my gosh, I've achieved something. Rather than saying I'm going to do it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock in the evening and then getting to that point and either forgetting to do it because life gets busy and then turning around at the end of the day and feeling like you haven't achieved anything. I think setting those small goals, those small measurable goals that you can tick off daily will make you feel so accomplished. You'll feel like every day you've done something, you've been able to achieve something. So I think that's a good place to start for those people who maybe are not so...
I think following on from that, I would say, and this is for both, like people who are super driven and people who are not so, or people who wake up more positive, but having a purpose. And the reason why I'm going to say having a purpose, right, and I know it sounds, again, cliche, and I hate that, but having a purpose, because I feel like there's something your mum said, I think that you said, and I think it reminds me, every time I think about the purpose thing now, I'm like, it reminds me, but I feel like when you have a purpose and you know the reason why you're getting out of bed and you know why God has put you on this earth and you know what's pulling you towards that, I think it's much easier to wake up and get out of bed and do that.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always said to myself, like, my purpose is to inspire women.
Yeah.
You know, and it came from young.
Yeah.
Where it came from, God knows. Do you see what I mean? And that's
But
what...
it's something that God has laid on your chest. So,
yeah. So it's one of those things like, first I worked in a school, then I was head of year. Then it was like, let's get the book out. After the book, it was like, what's next? And then it was like, let's do this podcast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's always something that's going to hopefully inspire women to always do better.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so having
a glass
purpose
in your hand.
I mean, cheers. Yeah. So I think having a purpose, because sometimes I wake up here and I'm tired.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm unmotivated and I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, Jimmy, do you want to be broke? Then I'm like, Jimmy, you really gonna let everyone down? You really not gonna pull through for yourself?
Yeah.
So having something that will keep me disciplined throughout.
Yeah, for sure.
As opposed to motivation, because motivation, sometimes I'll be waking up and I'm like, no, not today.
Not today, honey.
Not today. Like I woke up this morning, I text Nate, I say, really? Really?
I said, what? Like, I'll see you soon.
Get it.
Because, no, it's true, 100%. I think that is a big one, and that is definitely something that has stuck with me. And
what is it, the quote that your mum says? I really like that, and I feel like it's something that we need to highlight.
It's if you don't have a reason to get up every morning, you're going to find it hard to... Oh gosh, how did she word it? Maybe I need to call her to ask her.
We put it like you'll definitely hear it in our Joy episode, so check that episode out as well.
I'm trying to think. How did she say it? If you don't have a reason to get up every morning,
you'll struggle.
You struggle to get up.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
It makes so much sense to me, and I relate.
Yeah, it does. It really it gives you. It's really surrounded around purpose, because every morning, if you feel like you're getting up for no reason, and you don't know what you're doing or where your day starts or anything like that, you're going to find it hard to be motivated to do anything in life. You're just going to want to lay back in bed and be there all day. But then when you know you have somewhere to go, you're going to have a reason to be like, right, I need to get out of bed and start pushing through. So
I want to know as well, like what people do or where people's goals come from. That's what I'd be curious to know. A
lot of it, I feel like, is they always say it starts from childhood trauma. Or at least childhood, regardless of whether there was trauma there or not, it starts from childhood. So
that I can actually agree to.
Yeah. I think a lot of it stems from there. I feel like with me, like when I started the Venus Code, for example, that was birthed from going to uni, doing a degree that I felt there wasn't many people that looked like me.
Facts.
And so I felt like, well, if I'm somebody that's battling with that, then how many other people are also going through that same thing? Yeah. So, so that's where that motivation came to start that. Yeah. But then in terms of, I guess, life goals and wanting bigger heights, I feel like a lot of that does come from childhood. Like wanting to make sure that you create the family that you maybe that you want, the one that you desire, and things like that. So, but so
that's really interesting. Yeah. I'm like, to be honest, now that you said that, because obviously I've never really thought about that question, like where do my goals come from innately? Because most of the time I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, this is a nigga. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But actually, when you said like sometimes it comes from childhood, like my mum is bad.
Listen,
like bad. So I'm like, it makes sense, because I'm like, she inspires me, she motivates, and I'm like, that's probably where I got that I want to do well for women aspect from. Yeah. So yeah, so it's so interesting, because I've never really thought about it that way. So yeah, and I'm trying to think. Again, does some of our goals come from society? So for example, in our 30s episode, we spoke about like getting a house, for example, before 30, and I said, but why 30? Why not 35?
Yeah, why not 40?
Yeah,
why not 50?
Societal. It's a society thing, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is societal pressures. I think there's a few layers to it. I think the house thing. I mean, there's a few layers to it, because ultimately, if you're getting a mortgage, they look at your age.
Yes, of course.
So the younger you are,
the better, because
the better.
Like, 100%.
So that could be a reason why some people say before 30, but I don't think a lot of people exactly.
People don't even know
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of people that actually realize that your age matters. Your age matters, and the younger you are, the more
longer you can do the mortgage for.
So I think because of that, like, yeah, I don't know.
So, because another goal is like, oh, I want to be driving before a certain age, right? Or I want to have a house before a certain age. I want to be married before a certain age. I feel like the married one comes from a cultural
For sure.
pressure.
The car thing is quite interesting because my mum is like, she's very, from early, she's like, push. And so like, even with the car thing, a lot of people don't know this.
You said it on I was going to say.
I was going to say, because I actually failed my driving test 4 times.
We know. You told us.
You. So I failed 4 times, but I passed on my 5th. And I actually wanted to give up. And I said to my mum, I'm going to hire a chauffeur for the rest of my life because I can't do this.
My cousin always says this to me. And now she can drive too.
But literally, my mum was like, we go again. Go again. Like, you're not giving up. You have to learn how to drive. And this was, I think I passed when I was 18. So I was still quite young when I was doing it. But her whole thing was, you're not going to have time when you're older. Trust me. Do it now.
Yeah.
Get it out the way. Even if you don't get a car now, just do it now. Get it out the way. Be done with it. So you don't have to think about it.
My mum said the same thing, that it's easier when you're younger. Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're both Ibadan babes or something. I don't know.
Bad
There's
bees.
something in
I'm a
that
bad
water. But literally, like, she was just like, just get it out of the way and get it done. And now looking back on it, I'm so glad I did. Because a lot of my friends a few of my friends that haven't, and they're trying to do it now, it's a struggle because there's so many other financial commitments, time, responsibilities. So it becomes like bottom of the list. So, I'm glad that my mum pushed me to do that at an earlier age. But
for those people who don't, because Nay always corrects me on this as well, because I assume that everyone's close with their parents because of my relationship with my parents. Yeah. For those people that don't have that parental encouragement, how do they get past that?
Ooh,
because
good question.
Do you know what I mean? So for example, like, you're talking about your mum in terms of, she said, push me to do your like, you have to do it. My mum, for example, she was like, every 2 driving lessons you pay for, I'm going to pay for 1. So I think at the time she was teaching me responsibility, financial commitment, but also encouragement. So we, again, place of privilege. What about those people that don't have that? Because some people wake up and they don't have a good parent. They don't have that parental pressure. They don't have that encouragement. So what do we say to them?
Oof, that's a hard one.
It's a really hard one. I don't even know how I came up with that. But because you always correct me on it, I'm like, that's true.
Yeah, because I think like both of us have had phenomenal women in our lives. Like our mothers have been a blessing. Facts. And I've been blessed twice because my mum's a twin. So I've got it. I've got
Taiwan came
double blessing. But I think it's quite hard. I think if you can't get it from people in the house, because some people just don't have that relationship with their mothers.
Which is, I feel sad,
I think it is
so
sad. I share my mum with some of my friends because I'm just like, you can have her.
Yeah. Take her.
But it's because I know, like, she's such a blessing to me that I don't want to consume all of that because she has so much to give and share. Yep. But I think people who don't have that, I think it is about trying to seek external support from women. So it may be an auntie, it may be a friend's mum, it could be a mentor. And I think you have to make a conscious effort to go and look for that if you don't feel like you have that in the home. Because it's so like I do feel like that older generation, I think when a lot of people are younger, and I was one of those as well, when you go through maybe your teenage years or your rebellious years, you do feel like, you don't know anything, you don't understand what I'm going through.
My mouth is sharp.
Listen,
real sharp.
But they know what they're talking about. My mum has never. There's not one thing that my mum has told me
that has not come to pass.
Okay,
and you're like,
I don't even want to tell her. Like, I don't want her to know.
You're like,
okay, but she has been correct on everything she has said. And so I feel like having an older person they will instill so much wisdom in you, and they'll give you good counsel, because sometimes we turn to our friends and they're going through the same struggles we're going through.
And do you know what as well, another thing is sometimes the people that, when you're younger anyway, the people that you think are your friends don't actually have your best interest at heart. So that's another thing.
But I mean, watch our episode on mothers, because we have definitely spoken about some mothers that are sabotages.
That's true.
Hey, please.
And the thing is, there's a lot of them too.
There's a lot. So please sharpen your eyes, open your ears. I'm just going to leave you there. Ponder, think about it. But yeah, if you do see that there's external people who you think are just amazing women, mothers, us, who you'd like to get counsel from, I think you should definitely reach out to them. You'd be surprised how many people will be willing to give back and share the wisdom that they've learned along the way. What about you? What do you think?
What do I think in regards to what? I'm like, wait, what do I think in regards to what?
What do you think in terms of people who don't have it at home if they can't get it from their mothers?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm like,
It was her question. It was actually her question.
I'm like, wait. No, I agree. That's why I was like, wait, what? No, I agree. I feel like you need to be able to seek mentorship in people that are a little bit older than you, and people that have been there before. Seek counselling or therapy. I think therapy is really important to have an outsider's view that doesn't know you. I think it's more unbiased than seeking friendships. If you have friends that are older than you as well, sometimes, and the thing is as well, it's really listening to what people say. And people forget that. So I tend to have a lot of friends that are older than me, right? Even if we're not friends right now. Something that you said to me 4 years ago, I still remember. So it's having those friends around you that are a little bit older.
I was going to say, it's quite interesting. I mean, we didn't bring it up in our friendship episode, but do you feel like most of your friends are older than you?
Yeah. I'm always the youngest.
Do you think... I'm always the youngest.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, to be honest. And you're also a Gemini.
Yeah.
Are you a Gemini?
Yeah.
No, stop. When's your birthday? I love Geminis.
We're a bit crazy, but yeah.
We are, to be honest.
I'm always... Why do you feel like you're always the youngest?
I don't know. I feel like I've just got like a bit of a
Old
wise
soul.
head.
Oh, is that what it is?
Listen,
Old
everyone
soul.
always said...
Old
yeah,
soul.
but I've got an old soul and I feel like I don't want to necessarily say wiser beyond my years because I do still feel like I'm constantly growing and learning.
Yeah, we always
But
will
I
be.
do feel like a lot of my friends, even till this day, I could be 10 years deep into the friendship and they'll be like, wait, how old are you again? I'm just like, are you actually taking a piss? Like, they
Yeah.
always forget my age. But I do feel like sometimes you get to a point in life where age is not really, doesn't define the level of maturity, level of success, or
I
anything
agree,
like that.
and I also
Yeah.
just again throwing it out there. I feel like age does not automatically equal respect. So let's be working on them characters.
Hello,
please,
hi.
Because just because you're 40 doesn't mean you have sense.
Oh dear.
Just putting it out there.
Jamaica.
Just saying. Just saying.
But yeah, so with
yeah.
regards to contentment, what would be some of your takeaways from this episode?
Takeaways is seek out mentorship that's beneficial to you. But again, a mentor doesn't have to be someone that you talk to every single day. A mentor can be like, I like this person. I'm going to follow them on Instagram and see, for example, what knowledge they're sharing.
Yeah.
Or at work, somebody in a position that may be a little bit higher than you that you want to seek out. Or even a colleague, seeking out regular feedback so you can actually grow.
Yeah.
Learning ways to accept that the journey may be more fun than the actual end goal.
Yeah.
Always remembering that discipline is going to always outweigh motivation and figuring out your purpose. I feel like the only way you can be content and not compare in terms of jealousy or make comparisons is knowing who you are as a strong character, being disciplined and working towards those goals, and knowing your purpose.
Yeah.
If you have those three things, you're more likely to be set up for success in your own life
lane.
and in your own journey.
Amen.
What about you?
No, I feel like you summed it up.
Summer.
Just go. You summed it up beautifully. I feel like you should just continue to be confident in who you are as a person. Just know that everyone's lane, everyone's life is different. Have your aspirations, have your goals. Know that you have a different purpose. You're walking a different walk to anybody else around you. So don't focus on wanting what somebody else has. Focus on making sure that you can acquire what you want out of life. So that would be mine.
And on that note, girlies, Nate's got another one. And on that note, let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts on contentment, negative and positive jealousy, if that's even a thing. Discipline. What's your opinion on the journey and the goal and purpose? And we'd love to hear from you guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
And don't forget about our event on the 4th of February.
Exactly. And cheers to this.
Cheers.